It really sucks because I love Pokemon more than anything. I've only and always wanted the best for the Pokemon Company. Like, everything about the 20th anniversary has been amazing. That I've been doing a lot of love and nostalgia videos, and Pokemon Generations has been absolutely mind-blowing and like the best thing ever when it comes to Pokemon. And I support pretty much everything the Pokemon Company does except for the VGC, except for the competitive side, because this right here, we have rule changes for VGC, changes for December 22nd, and it just shows that there's corruption, that there's just a lack of understanding from the competitive side of Pokemon. Like, whoever's running the competitive scene has no idea what they're doing and shows almost zero competence, because these rules, they ignore even the top VGC players, they ignore hack checking and Pokemon legality, and it's almost like corruption because you can tell there's favoritism being played. That the Pokemon Company keeps adding hack checking rules and hack checking guidelines, but refuses to enforce them against top players when it boils down to it. So really, what's the point? So let's go and see what we have here. Added team list requirement and accuracy requirement to tethered events. So we're going to talk about these, but I want to get to a big point here really soon. So this is because of the international. Like, December was just an absolute crapshoot, which is why there's going to be these rule changes right here, that the international had those team sheet discrepancies, and also added battle video save requirement, that if you do not save every battle video, you get a game loss. That's actually pretty intense to think about right there. But then we get to the biggest one, the one that shows that whoever is in charge of the competitive scene has no idea about Pokemon legality or what they're doing for hat checking. Added Pokeball and Pokeball variations to the manual hat checking appendix. Now, when I first saw this, I was completely on board because I was like, you know what? It sounds like the Pokemon Company listened. Like, if anything, this proves that the Pokemon Company or some kind of representative watches my videos, because any of these Alola Pokedex number Pokemon that are in any Pokeball any ball other than a Pokeball. So type Null Valley, that's 203, 204, and then the Porygon evolutionary line. And that's what I mentioned in my video, because there was that video of the guy that used the illegal Beast Ball Porygon 2 at the International. So it was pretty much like, yo, Pokemon Company, listen. And also, if there's any Pokemon Company representatives watching this video, please shut down Pokemon Battleground. All this guy does, infringe copyright, steal anime episodes, and then, like, rename it stupid clickbait titles and stuff. This guy has made almost $200,000 a month from doing this. So you could even probably take your legal team and pursue action or something, because this is just straight up copyright infringement, and they're profiting insanely off of that. So anyone from the Pokemon Company, that's something to pay attention to. And now let's get back to the Pokeball topic, because I'm also wondering, like, what the Pokemon Company wants to do with these players that continuously are caught with hacked Pokemon or using illegitimate Pokemon in tournaments. And while I do know that none of my fans have sent any hate to Joshua or any harassment to him, and will not do so because of this video, I will still make a disclaimer. I do not support or condone anyone harassing Joshua over his illegal Pokemon that was shown and talked about in my other videos. But here we go. So this was the guy that had the Beast Ball Porygon, which is now causing this rule change. I'm wondering if there's going to be any penalties or any retroactive punishment for this, because some of this doesn't add up. Uploads resume Friday. I've been working real hard and I don't have much time to play currently. But then how does he have these full teams for International, and then it shows that he has an illegal Pokemon anyways? So it brings up a lot of question for not only the legality of one Pokemon, but his entire team, and I'm also wondering if the Pokemon Company is going to choose to punish any of this. So also 9th in CP, well, does he still keep the CP from the events, even though the rules show that he had an illegal Pokemon? But then the biggest problem with this, the biggest joke out of all of this to the Pokemon Company, is that where are the starter Pokemon? The starter Pokemon fall in the exact same category as these Pokemon right here. So this is what tells me that the people making the rules have no idea how Pokemon is played on a legitimate level, because right here, 1 through 9, Alola Dex 1 through 9, that's going to be Rowlet, Evolutionary Line, Lit, and Poplio. The only time you obtain these Pokemon is in a Pokeball. That's going to be at the start of the game, it's only in a Pokeball, and there's no breeding. Like, the breeding mechanics in Pokemon cannot let you pass down Pokeballs from different species. That say I have a male Pokemon in Rowlet's egg group or something, and it has a Beast Ball, and I breed it with a Rowlet, that Rowlet, baby, will always be in a Pokeball, because you can only get Rowlet in a Pokeball. So these rules need to be updated yet again. So it sounds like the Pokemon Company listen to my complaints, watch the video, but don't understand anything else about the other illegal ball Pokemon, and this is kind of showing that, yeah, this is against the rules. Cool, now go out and enforce this. I'm wondering if that means any retroactive punishment, because interestingly enough, there was retroactive punishment already done with this team list requirement for accuracy issues in the Pokemon teams. Now, this is because there was a lot of people complaining at the International, but because of the name problems, that's what caused him to lose his Pokemon. So those people were already punished at the event, and then it was put into the rules after. But it seems like when it comes to illegal Pokemon, Pokemon Company doesn't care. When it comes to popular players that have been caught with hacked Pokemon in the past, that are continuously showing these very suspicious teams, Pokemon Company turns a blind eye to it. So this is why I don't feel that there's any legitimacy coming out of the competitive scene, or that they have no understanding of what's going on inside of their own rules. Because this right here isn't even me trying to start drama. This isn't like Verlisify hating on anything just to make a video and start drama. No. All the VGC players that talk about this, all the top players are hating what's going on right now because screen peeking has less penalty than failure to save a battle video. And one really interesting thing about the battle video is that if there is a limit in Pokemon Sun and Moon like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I couldn't get a clear answer. You know, I asked the question, is there a limit to a number of save battles? Someone said they believe it's 100, and then in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire there was 100. So that means if you have, say, 90, 80 battle videos or even a max battle video save, and you forget to clear it before going to regionals, you can actually get a game loss because we're in a pretty battle-heavy format. We're in a best 2 out of 3. So those battle videos are going to add up pretty quickly, especially if you're going into like 3 battle rounds every time or something. So that means you could be giving game losses for something that a simple slip out of your control. But at the same time, the intentional action of cheating and screen peeking does not give a game loss until the 3rd time? What? Now, I do know it is hard to prove intent, which is why there'd be like warning into game loss, but still, like, you're just sitting across a fold-out table from someone, and it's really easy to do that screen peeking, according to all these other VGC players and stuff. So that's like one of the biggest issues right there, and it is not being treated at all. And that's kind of like one of the crazy things right there. All of this really just shows that the Pokemon Company has it backwards. They're not coming down hard enough on the legitimate cheaters out there with illegal Pokemon and doing cheating moves like screen peeking, and then the innocent mistakes are getting punished with game losses and stuff. But also, let's go and dissect the way that the rules break down for illegal Pokemon, because it's wildly inconsistent, because we have these things right here. So we have like severe cases, tier 2, tier 1, or whatever, and that kind of goes to punishment right here. If fewer than 4 Pokemon remain, apply game loss and disqualify player from event. Also use if manual hat checking appendix case 1 or 2 apply. So I'm guessing that for the manual hat checking cases 1 or 2, that's when you apply game loss and disqualify right there. But that doesn't make any sense because some of these tiers are not weighted properly. Any of these Pokemon with a Black Clover that has a following real level, well, this is just as illegal as any modified Pokemon. The only way that this can exist is through pure modification. Same with any of these things right here. You know, Pokemon with the Pokedex numbers that is also shiny. That's 100% created. That goes against these rules right here. You know, use of external devices such as mobile app to modify or create Pokemon in a player's party. We've talked about this rule many times. May be disqualified from competition regardless if that Pokemon or item belong to you or were traded for, because these cases right here are only from those modified Pokemon, which may or may not be disqualifiable. And then for some reason, like, you get these random cases like, okay, how is a Pokemon with a hidden ability that cannot be obtained through normal gameplay any different from a Pokemon that is created with the improper level and stuff like that? Any Pokemon with a move that cannot be learned prior to the launch of Pokemon Bank in 2017. Like, it's all cheating. The cheating is cheating, and it seems like, you know, they set it up to where they can apply these cases differently depending on which player is doing it. That if a well-known VGC player is doing it, well, that's kind of a slap on the wrist. They might lose their Pokemon, you know, no big punishment right there. But then also you get a game loss and disqualification if you get caught in there's just no consistency with the rules enforcement right here. And I'm wondering, like, what about these retroactive punishments? Why is it that a player with an illegal Pokemon is allowed to remain in the tournament when all the signs point that this is modified, that this is illegal, that they are using cheated Pokemon? It doesn't make any sense. And the Pokemon Company, there's no legitimacy here. There's no way to take the competitive scene seriously when the rules are this much of a joke. It's just bad. Because players must submit team sheets at the start of the tournament that match exactly as they appear in their battle team. I'm also wondering if anything's going to be done about this, because at the internationals, people are saying that these issues with the Gastrodon and like simple Pokemon mistakes were being punished, but people that were changing and modifying their Pokemon, like using illegal devices or swapping out and creating different Pokemon for their EVs or other values and stuff, changing out entire things about the Pokemon, those players were getting away with it because it's harder to detect like the EVs and stuff, and they just really weren't checking for that. But a simple item or a misnaming of a Pokemon, that's what ends up getting punished. So it doesn't make any sense how this is being dealt with. I did want to kind of like bring some other things into this. VGC rules got updated to give a battle loss if battle video isn't saved. What the hell is that? I completely agree with Joe Merrick right here. Screen peeking bits are a bit ridiculous too, that it's way too lenient and people can just do it whenever. That is so true. Like, it's pretty much saying, yeah, you can screen peek, you know, don't do it too much though, we might have to give you a game loss. It just shows the Pokemon Company has no idea what they're talking about, and this goes even deeper. Because the reason why I say that the Pokemon Company doesn't understand their competitive scene is because they continue to show this in the past. It also lists Type Null and Silvally as being impossible to be shiny and will hit manual hat checks. But these Pokemon are allowed to be shiny. Also, they got the Pokedex numbers wrong, with Zygarde being allowed in the first draft of the Pokemon rules. So, I have no freaking clue. Like, whoever is writing the rules, whoever is in charge of the competitive scene, has no idea how to play the game, has no idea how cheating in the game works, has no idea the legitimacy of Pokemon, and then just goes around throwing things out there and then doesn't even enforce them anyways. Unless you forget to save a battle video or you wrote down your Pokemon wrong, God forbid that, but if you're screen peeking or using hacked Pokemon, no, that's completely fine. We're not seeing any retroactive punishment on players that have used illegal Pokemon in the past. These players get rewarded, if anything. That all this suspicious behavior, nothing happens to it, and that's just super disgraceful. So, yeah, Pokemon Company, VGC, still as bad as ever, gets worse, no changes. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. If you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.